Deadpool and Wolverine is about to hit the screens, and it seems that the movie will take heavy inspiration from the 2015 Old Man Logan comics, which might just be the answer to what happened to Wolverine's world and how he let everyone down. This story takes place on Earth 21923, a version of Earth where Logan is haunted by his past, where Logan has grown old, too old. He's given up the mantle of Wolverine and now has a family in Sacramento as he tries to lead a life of peace. This is where our story begins. Prelude, Haunted by the Past. Wolverine Volume 3, Number 70. The Earth has been in turmoil ever since the supervillains decided to band together and act in an organized fashion. Although fodder at first, nobody ever realized that for every superhero, there were 20 or more supervillains. And once they decided to hit the heroes as a united force, it was all over. It's been 50 years, and North America is now owned and governed by these villains. Major parts of the continent have been sectioned off for evil entities like Kingpin and Dr. Doom. Every hero the Earth revered has been lost. Everyone except a few, like Hawkeye and Wolverine. But they're no longer themselves. Hawkeye, aka Clint Barton, is now blind, and Wolverine, well, he hasn't unsheathed his claws in the past 50 years. Miraculously, Clint contacts Logan when Logan is in dire need of money, and Clint can help him. Clint needs help crossing the post-apocalyptic land from the west coast to the east coast. He's going to New Babylon. Logan agrees and they make their way, fighting all kinds of evil on the way. Moloids, cloned dinosaurs and more, all the while being unaware of someone stalking them. Venom's hostless symbiotic form. And this is where our story picks up because although, dear friends, Hawkeye has held off on asking Logan about his past, why the killing machine hasn't unsheathed his claws in the past 50 years. But all that's about to change today. Logan and Clint are sitting beside a campfire with their backs to a rocky cliff when Logan decides to come clean and tell Clint about that gruesome night. 50 years ago, when the supervillains decided to organize against the heroes, Logan was in the X-Mansion with Jubilee, looking over the surveillance system. Each screen had unanswered calls and warnings. They'd received distress calls from the Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D. and Fantastic Four, Wakanda, almost everyone, and nobody was responding to return calls from the X-Mansion. Logan understands the dire situation as he asks Jubilee to leave, but it's already too late. A sudden explosion rocks the surveillance room as Jubilee succumbs to the falling rubble, a wooden beam sticking right out of her skull. Logan picks himself up, brushing pieces of wood and stone off of him as he sees the villains enter through the hole in the wall. It's Strife, Dr. Octavius, Shocker, Claw, and Mr. Hyde, and they're accompanied by more villains in their wake. But Wolverine doesn't care. He has to take care of the kids in the mansion as they stand horrified in the background. Dr. Octavius restrains Wolverine as soon as he draws his claws, giving the other villains more time to enter the mansion. The Lizard, Blob, Titanium Man, Deadshot, and the Silver Samurai all storm different parts of the mansion as terrified students. Kids recoil in horror. Green Goblin and Mr. Sinister storm the basement as the kids try to escape using the evacuation tunnels, and this pushes Wolverine to the brink. He rages and slices Octavius's robotic arm with a giant swing, and then does the same to Claw. He then takes aim and drives his claws through their throats. He takes on Mr. Hyde next, slicing his head clean off of his shoulders. It's Strife's turn next, and with a huge swing, he ends him. All this while Logan wonders where his fellow X-Men were. Where was Cyclops? Where was Storm? Jean? There's nobody there to help him, and that's when he sees Goblin and Trapster head for the children. Wolverine lunges at them in a jiffy but fails to notice the terror in their eyes. It's the same as the children they're headed for. Wolverine doesn't realize that they're all scared of him. He jumps for them and slices them both apart effortlessly as Silver Samurai takes a jab at him. But sadly for the samurai, Wolverine is too fast, and in the next second, he sliced his head off with a clean swing. Logan next takes on Blob as he screams at the children still in the room. Just get out of here and don't look back, no matter what you hear. You understand? And they run out, terrified. Logan keeps screaming for them not to look back as the children make their escape. Sabretooth and Mr. Sinister leap at Wolverine next, but nobody can face the Chupacabra when he's raging. Mr. Sinister gets his face sliced off while Sabretooth tries to fight Wolverine with the help of the Lizard and Shocker. They don't know it, but Wolverine will protect their mansion, his home, at all costs. Soon, everyone is a part of the pile of bodies lying on the ground. The only man to stand his ground in front of the raging animal is Deadshot, and he gives Logan a good fight. A fight he'll remember for the rest of his life. They fight for the next 90 minutes, going back and forth with each blow until Wolverine manages to drive his arm right through Deadshot's torso. It's all over. Logan, stop, please. Why are you doing this? You're supposed to be our friend, says Deadshot as the light fades from his eyes, and things seem to shift for Logan. The scent, Deadshot's scent, changes. Everyone's scent changes. And so does the color of the mansion around him. As the mist unveils the truth, Logan is horrified, shocked to his core. His eyes widen beyond their extent as he realizes what he's done, who he's holding. He's holding Jubilee, dead in his arms. Each cut on Jubilee's body carves a new wound in Logan's heart. And as the mist fades, Mysterio emerges from the shadows and says, "Did you really think you could do this? Alone? Take down 40 supervillains? Talk about delusions of grandeur. But your friends, people who would hesitate, that's a different matter entirely." If you've liked our video thus far, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. It may be small clicks for you, but it marvelously helps us create these marvelous long reads. And now, let's continue. So, Mysterio thanks Logan and leaves, who's still shaking, his fingers trembling as he places Jubilee down gently. And as he turns around, he sees what he's done. Every X-Men, Storm, Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, every single one of them, every person of his adopted family, dead, their bodies ravaged, missing limbs, missing heads, and all missing the light from their eyes. Long gone. What happened then? Asks Clint in the present day, and Logan continues telling his story, tears streaming down his face, endlessly. After doing what he'd done, Logan was a broken man. The villains had broken him the only way it mattered. They'd killed Logan in his own eyes. In a daze, Logan simply got up and started walking into the woods endlessly, a living zombie as he walked for weeks, without food or water, in the same clothes, the same blood of his family, dried up on his skin and clothes. Every animal he encountered in the woods was frightened by him. There was no bigger predator for miles when it came to Logan, but his brain, his heart, they couldn't stop thinking about what he'd done. And so Logan did the only thing he could to punish himself. Logan laid down on train tracks in front of an oncoming freight train, waiting and letting it drive over neck and spine. "But a train couldn't kill you, not with your healing factor," says Barton, apprehension seeping through his words, and Logan replies as he continues shedding tears for his lost family. "No, but it hurt, and sometimes, well, that's enough." He killed Wolverine that night, and it's the reason why Logan hasn't unsheathed his claws in the past 50 years. And now, let's explore the main Old Man Logan comics. Old Man Logan. And this is where we pick up on the story of Old Man Logan. In the next few years, things only got worse for Logan as his wife and children were killed off by Hulk Gang, descendants of Bruce Banner. This event, the loss of his family again, sparked Logan to unsheath his claws and kill every last one of them. Everyone except baby Bruce Jr., named after his father. And with that, Logan was a new man. He decided to never turn his back on his duties as a hero again. Breaking the Walls. Issue number 1. 3 members of the Flying Devils gang play poker in a bar and saloon room. The poker table is lit by a single dim lamp swinging from the roof. They all wear Daredevil costumes while their boss wears an Iron Man helmet. This is some sort of a crude joke. One of them proceeds to tell their boss Gladiator about the missing Hulk gang and how he hasn't heard from them in a week. Gladiator isn't convinced. He suspects there's more to it than they're telling him when one of them says, I heard there was a guy. And then a voice from behind them echoes, "Might be this guy." It's Old Man Logan, and he's come to end their operation. Gladiator and his gang, the Flying Devils, are human traffickers in the wasteland, and Logan isn't happy about it. Not one bit. He opens a can of beer and sips it down, all the while telling them to stop and give up on their operations. Gladiator isn't happy, and he gives Logan till the count of 3 to leave. Not a good move. Old Man Logan steps forward and pours his drink on one of the Flying Devil members. Disrespect. It's something Gladiator won't stand for. He jumps to his feet, drawing a gun in each hand and yells, "End him!" But he doesn't know who he's dealing with. The next second, Logan leaps through the air, driving his claws through Gladiator's chest. The Flying Devil's boss never stood a chance. The stench of blood fills the air as the other members of the gang charge him with knives and guns. Logan makes quick work of them. One of them gets his head sliced off while the other gets claws driven through his heart. Limbs are flying in every direction until a member of the gang manages to throw Old Man Logan out of the saloon's window. Logan crashes into a car with shards of glass following him. Logan screams as he gets up, but the goons have a plan. They pull out a shotgun and start firing at him. Old Man Logan puts up his arms in defense as the shells deflect and miss his face. He then charges at them and first slices the shotgun apart, and then the goon that wields it. He moves toward the second one and kills him instantly while the last member of the Flying Devils looks on in horror. Logan slowly inches toward the last goon, ordering him to take off his mask. The Flying Devils, all of them, wear Daredevil costumes, and Logan isn't pleased. He grabs him by the collar and screams, "You wear this uniform? Do you even know who he was?" He clearly doesn't. Old Man Logan is talking about a bygone era. "It's just cool," says the goon, stammering, trying to be honest, but Logan has had enough. He plunges his claws into the goon's stomach and walks away, leaving a pile of bodies and lots of blood in his wake. The usual. He's then approached by Gladiator's prisoners. Girls mostly. They don't know what to do now that Gladiator's dead, and Old Man Logan tells them to do whatever they want. For once, they can create a life they like. But as he takes out a stick of gum to chew on, someone shoots him in the face. It's a young kid, no more than 11 or 12. Of course, The gunshot doesn't do much damage thanks to his adamantium skeleton, but Logan can't believe he's gonna have to face a kid. He can't catch a break. "You're too young to be playing big boy games, bub," he says as he takes the gun away from the kid. No, you just killed my pa," replies the kid, his gladiator's son. Old Man Logan is saddened as he tells the kid he's done the kid a favor and that he'll be able to see that once he's all grown up. But the kid is grieving and vows to avenge his father once he grows up. He turns away from Logan, tears streaming down his face as Logan tells him to come find him if he still feels that way years later. By now, the entire town is gathered on the scene. They all seem to look at him with dead eyes. He turns to them, throws his arms wide open and screams, "You're free! All of you! Free!" He whistles loudly, and his horse gallops toward him, leaving a cloud of dust in its wake. He warns the townsfolk to do something better with the town, to make something of their lives, because when he returns, he wants to see better, and if he finds the town to be the same or worse, he'll burn it to the ground. Old Man Logan puts on his cowboy hat and rides into the setting sun. In the wasteland, Logan drinks a beer at an abandoned gas station, waiting for his wounds to heal when he spots something falling from the sky. It soon lands with a loud crash in front of him, billowing smoke and dust everywhere. And as Old Man Logan walks over, he sees a familiar face. It's Ultron's head. He picks it up, shakes it, and tries to speak to it, hoping it might be connected to a network. But no, the head is dormant. He then puts the head in his bag and rides back home. Upon reaching, he's greeted by Danielle Cage, the daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. She asks about Gladiator. Logan tells her that the job is done. He then asks about the baby, Bruce Banner Jr., and Danielle tells him he's doing fine. The baby's face lights up with a smile as he sees Logan walk up to him. And as Old Man Logan nears his hand, the baby grabs Logan's finger. Danielle goes through his belongings as Logan tells her that he's going to go away for a while. She tells him that the baby will be sad without him, and she discovers Ultron's head. She doesn't know what it is. And Logan tells her about Ultron and how he has to go look into this. Ultron's head falling out of the sky is something that can't be just a coincidence. Logan then asks her if the baby still eats everything in sight, and she nods. She tells him how she likes the baby, how he's smart, and she likes having him around, trying to uplift Logan's spirit. And that's when Logan looks at Danielle dearly. She knows what's coming, and she begs him not to say it. "Can't help it. You're just like them, both of them," he says, despite her protests. By now, he's done packing for his trip. Logan is about to leave when Danielle says she could use some money for food and supplies. "Whatever you want, Miss Cage," says Logan as we see he's already left cash for her beside her mother and father's picture. Thor's hammer gathers dust in Hammer Falls, Nevada, just outside the former tourist town as Logan rides in. Souvenirs like Fantastic Four t-shirts, Iron Man masks, Captain America shields, and Avengers toys. Things that were once sold out within minutes are now caked in dust. The town that was once a tourist hub, now abandoned. Logan walks into a nearby hotel when he catches Emma Frost's scent. He draws his claws and walks in as he sees Emma appear as Jean Grey to him. She's using her psychic powers to control her appearance. She changes and now appears as herself to Logan, her former younger self. The two talk and Emma tells Logan how his doing brought her to Hammerfall. How, after he killed the Hulk gang and Ashley Barton killed the Kingpin, territories were open for the taking. And so Emma made her way here. Unfortunately for her, the Punishers had reached Hammer Falls before her, and although she thought she could influence them using her psychic powers, she only ended up making things worse. They only got crazier. And when the Punishers took aim at her, she couldn't turn her skin into diamond fast enough. And that's when Emma lets go of her powers, and Logan sees the real her. She lies on the bed, bleeding from a gunshot wound to her right kidney, on the brink of death, old and miserable, just like Logan. "When you walked in, I thought you were the angel of death, taking me," are Emma's last words to Logan as she passes away. Another loss. Logan takes off his cowboy hat and places it on her body as he leaves the hotel. Before Emma's death, she managed to help Logan understand what he already knew deep inside. The Ultron helmet didn't come from this domain. It came from beyond their domain, over the walls that contain them. And that's where Logan's headed as he gallops on his horse through the vast wasteland until he reaches it, the wall. Beyond the walls. Issue number 2. Old Man Logan unsheathes his claws and drives them into the wall, and then again. Slowly, he begins climbing the wall, and by sundown, he manages to reach the top. Beyond the wall is a lush green forest, and in the distance is a bustling city, teeming with life. It's unlike anything Old Man Logan has seen in the past 50 years, unlike anything many people have ever seen in his domain. But as he realizes this, he hears someone, and as he looks up, he can't believe his eyes. It's a woman dressed as Thor, flying and wielding Mjolnir. Logan can't believe his eyes and asks, "What the hell are you supposed to be? And why are you dressed like a dead man?" The mysterious lady, however, has no intention of providing an answer. She instead raises Mjolnir and brings down a blast of lightning directly on Old Man Logan. This burns most of his skin off and plunges Logan down the wall into the forest of the new domain. Logan crashes through trees, seemingly lost forever. The lady makes her way down and calmly walks through the forest, looking for clues as Logan hides between two fallen tree trunks. She crosses Logan but can't find him. She looks around for a while but then gives up and flies off. Logan breathes a sigh of relief as we see his healing factor has already kicked in and most of his skin is now healed. Weary Old Man Logan makes his way through the forest until his luck shines through. He comes across a stream of water. He's been dehydrated. Thus, Logan kneels down and begins drinking. It's only been a few seconds as his bout of good luck runs out. He spots a huge tiger staring at him from directly across the stream. Logan doesn't want to, but he has to plunge his claws through the tiger as it roars and lunges at him. The tiger dies instantly. As Logan curses his luck, he hears wood cracking in the background and turns around. Things are only going to take a turn for the worse, it seems, because out of the shadows steps Sabretooth, and in his wake, around 20 men. Logan addresses him as Sabretooth, but the mutant growls and says, "I'm one of the horsemen, you grungy son of a bitch. You call me Creed." Creed's men open fire on Logan as he puts his arms up in defense. Creed stops them instantly. He wants Logan all to himself. This rivalry goes way back. Kaboom! A huge lightning bolt drops from the sky and hits Creed and his team head-on while grazing Logan. Old Man Logan looks up as his skin sizzles from the burns. He can't believe his eyes. It's Storm, or at least a version of her. She lowers herself, and other mutants join her. Nightcrawler, Iceman, everyone seems to be here, and they're as shocked as him. They can't believe it's Logan, but older. Logan holds his head as the mutants continue to argue among themselves regarding his identity. This is too much for him after all that's happened, and Logan passes out. When he wakes up, he encounters Emma Frost, and the disbelief that made him faint continues. Emma's meeting him in a mindscape of her making inside his head, trying to figure out how he's alive, while he tries to figure out where he is and what's happening. He just saw Emma pass away in front of his eyes only a day ago. Logan is growing tired of Emma's questions, and he's annoyed by the peace and quiet of his mindscape. He can't handle it anymore and holds Emma up by the collar, asking her to show him the real world, reality. Emma gives in and lets Logan wake up in the real world. Old Man Logan still can't believe his eyes. He's surrounded by the X-Men, surrounded by everyone he killed, murdered in his past. As the X-Men talk and ask him questions, the wall suddenly explodes with a loud bang. The culprit's Sabretooth, and this time he's accompanied by this world's Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, and Abyss. Sabretooth follows Logan's scent, and this irks Magneto. He knows Logan brought this upon them, this fight. And as they get ready to face off against Sabretooth and his accomplices, Magneto picks up Logan using his powers and throws him out of the window. Logan lands with a loud crash in the rubble below. Heavy rain pours down as Old Man Logan catches his bearings. He's still unable to believe that the X-Men aren't dead as he says, "Frost is messing with you. This can't be." But before Logan can finish his thoughts, he looks up and is gripped by shock. Apocalypse towers over him, and Logan is baffled. Things keep getting weirder and weirder. Apocalyptic Hell, issue number 3. Apocalypse begins by asking Logan questions. Logan's age seems to confuse him. He demands answers, but Logan stays silent. This irks the Blue Warrior God, who kicks Logan in the gut and says, "Fine, don't answer me. I will deal with you posthumously." Back in the building above, the X-Men are busy fighting Sabretooth and his men, and Logan now understands why Sabretooth called himself a horseman. He's one of Apocalypse's 4 horsemen. As Apocalypse holds Logan up by the throat, the Thor that Logan encountered earlier commands the Blue Warrior God to stop. Apocalypse throws Logan on the ground as Thor commands the X-Men and Sabretooth to stop fighting as well. "Disperse now, or feel the punishment of Doom's own hand," she yells, and everybody stops in their tracks, staring up at her. It seems none of them have seen a Thor before. Well, at least not in front of their eyes. Apocalypse demands to know more about Logan, how he's so old and where did he come from. After all, Thor is in Apocalypse's kingdom, and he demands answers. Thor, however, disagrees. This is a matter for Baron Doom, and that's all Apocalypse gets to know for now. "Are you threatening me, Baron Apocalypse?" asks Thor as tension rises between the two, and Apocalypse says, "Let's call it a firm but fair warning." Thor vows to report this disloyalty, and Apocalypse says, "You do that, but he's gone." And he's right. Logan's nowhere to be found. Thor looks around. Everyone's been gawking at them expecting a showdown. No one saw where Logan went, and when Thor asks the X-Men, they all stand up for him, for Logan, because he's one of them, one of their team. This insubordination angers Thor. She brings down a large bolt of lightning on everybody. The heavy rain intensifies the lightning's explosion. Apocalypse is now pissed off. He orders his Infinites, his army of genetically bred hybrids, to attack Thor, and they do. Around 1,000 feet away, Logan makes his escape, holding his injured arm and panting with each step. His age is catching up to him, and there's only so much his healing factor can compensate for. It's then that he encounters Tabitha, a mutant he knows will go on to become Boom Boom. She's in awe of Logan's healing factor as she watches his wounds heal right before her eyes. But before she can say more, Logan puts a hand on her mouth as he hides them both. Thor flies off in the distance, and Logan doesn't want to be spotted. Wow! A Thor! Tabitha whispers as she sees a Thor for the first time in her life. Logan bids her goodbye as he draws his claws and slowly stalks the Thor, moving closer to her every other moment. Emma Frost reaches out to Logan using her telepathic abilities, and she's read his mind. She knows he's going after her. The Thor. Logan climbs a large building as the Thor's guard continues looking for Logan, still unaware of his presence. Logan continues talking to Frost inside his head and tells her to take care of Tabitha. Tells her that she's a good kid and will go on to call herself Boom Boom. By this time, Logan had reached the top of the building. He slowly creeps toward Thor, and once he reaches the ledge, he says, "Looking for me, goat girl." As she turns around, she sees Logan leap toward her, claws drawn and aimed right at her ribcage. But it's not enough. Even though Logan manages to slice her, the Thor's guard still lives. She holds Logan up by the neck and says, "You will not touch me. I am a Thor." She rises high up in the air into the clouds and then throws Logan toward the ground. A lightning bolt hits him head on and Logan faints. He plunges toward the ground with increasing speed, but before Thor can finish him, she's interrupted by Apocalypse and his infinites in the distance. Thus, Logan continues falling until the roof of a building breaks his fall. It's Stark's building. Logan still has his eyes closed when he hears two men talking around him, waiting for him to wake up. He opens his eyes and sees Tony Stark and Rhodey, or at least the version of them that exists in this domain. Both of them are in their armor and eager to question Logan. Where did you come from? Why is there adamantium attached to your bone structure? They bombard Logan with questions as he slowly comes to his senses. He finally asks them, "Where am I?" And Stark tells him that he's in Technopolis, Stark's city. As Old Man Logan looks out of the window, he sees Iron Man armors everywhere, flying past one another. And just like Thor's guard and Apocalypse, Rhodey calls Tony by the name Baron Stark, while Stark refers to him as Grand Marshal Rhodes. Things are again different from what Logan remembers. His past. Tony continues and questions Logan if he knows about him, and Logan does. He knows he's Tony Stark, and that's when Stark gloats. "Yeah, I'm so famous. They even know me over Lord Doom's wall." Lord Doom? There's that name again, and Logan can't help but wonder about Doom. Who is Doom? Why does everyone from his past serve him? The three of them converse over the next few minutes, and Tony tells Logan that the city is infected by a technovirus. Humans or mutants can't survive outside without armor, which is why Logan saw so many of them flying around. Well, most mutants can't. Logan's body seems to be holding the virus off just fine, but for how long? Logan wants to leave, but Grand Marshal Rhodes can't allow that. Not after Logan left his domain, not after attacking a Thor. It's then that Logan demands a meeting with Doom, and the two of them stop in their tracks. Grand Marshal Rhodes can't allow that, but Tony is curious. He wants to know why he wants to meet Doom. What would the old man ask him? And it's then that Logan opens up, tells them that the things he's seen today are different from his past, a past that has haunted him for over 50 years. He tells them his name, but Tony doesn't remember anything. Jarvis remembers nothing. They don't even know about the X-Men. Tony cares for Logan, but this time as a stranger. He thinks he's old and maybe hallucinating. He advises Logan to let Rhodes take him back home, to let Tony create a cure for the technovirus using his blood. But Old Man Logan has had enough. He unsheathes his adamantium claws, but before he can do anything, Rhodes sends him flying out of the window. Rhodes too wields a hammer, much like Mjolnir. Logan lands on a pile of trash in the street below and faints instantly. When he comes to his senses momentarily, his eyes still closed, he hears Tony and Rhodes talking. Rhodes is taking Logan somewhere, someplace called the Deadlands. And when Logan finally wakes up, he sees zombies approaching him. Zombies that have been taken over by the symbiote. Hundreds of them, thousands of them, all coming after Logan. Repentance, issue number 4. It's been weeks, maybe months since Logan's been fighting zombies, symbiotes, and zombie symbiotes in the Deadlands. This is hell for him, literally. The sun doesn't set in this land, and it's surrounded by walls, tall enough to touch the sky. Logan has to fight for his life every second, every minute of the day. The only thing keeping him going is memories of Bruce Banner Jr. The zombies might think Logan's an easy target, but he isn't about to give up without a fight. He does every day, every minute, until he finally catches a break. He sees an opening in a cliff across a chasm and takes a leap. Thankfully, zombies can't reach it as they fall to their doom below. As Logan enters the cave, darkness engulfs him, and his thoughts echo in his mind loudly. His memories take over as he thinks, maybe I've gone insane. Maybe I never left the desert. Maybe I never left Weapon X. Maybe I'm dead, and this is where you go when you die. Maybe I've never married. Maybe that damn Banner killed me when he killed my family. This is hell. His morbid thoughts, however, are soon interrupted as he realizes he's not alone in the cave. He looks down and sees her. It's She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, and as Logan draws his claws, she informs him that she means him no harm. Not until Logan decides to attack her. Logan's surprised. She's not a zombie after all. Someone did manage to survive. Logan's met her before. But this is a different Jennifer, just like most of the other people he's encountered since coming into this new domain, this new world. Just like Logan, she's been sent to the Deadlands for getting on Doom's bad side. And just like Logan, she doesn't know how long she's been here. You can't jump out of here? I've seen you hulks jump a whole state, asks Logan, but Jennifer shakes her head in denial. She's tried it before, but the walls seem to get further away from her no matter how high she jumps. Logan suggests throwing him over the wall instead of jumping, chucking him over the wall like a baseball. Jennifer hesitates for a moment, thinking about it. Her reply, however, is cut short as she spots the zombies entering the cave they've been found. The two begin fighting, and this time, Logan rages. If he can't leave, he'll kill them all, and he has someone to protect now. Logan walks toward the endless horde of zombies in front of him and begins slicing them one by one. Heads, limbs, and other body parts fly in every possible direction, but their sheer numbers overpower him, and then suddenly, he gets bitten by one. His eyes turn red as he lets out a guttural scream and then drops to the ground. His healing factor takes over and gets rid of the zombie virus, but it was painful enough to make Logan let his guard down. He's now swarmed by zombies as a symbiote tries to take control of him. It's all over, but as Logan loses hope, it's then that She-Hulk grabs him and jumps towards a cliff. She's gonna do what he suggested earlier, throw him like a baseball. She-Hulk jumps from cliff to cliff with Logan on her back, gaining height with each jump, until finally, she throws Logan toward the sky at the peak of her highest jump. You do me a favor, you see any Hulks out there, you be nice to him. These are her last words to him as she falls back to the ground. Sadly, she never gets to hit the ground as she gets picked off by a winged creature possessed by a symbiote. Logan flies through the air, soaring higher and higher as he watches the orange glow of the Deadlands fade and get smaller below him. Minutes later, he sees himself cross over the wall and back into a city. As Logan falls toward the ground, he expects the worst of injuries, and he should. He crashes through a tall skyscraper before finally coming to rest on the roof of another smaller one. Logan lies in the large pile of rubble, waiting for his body to fix itself enough, and once it does, he makes his way out of the pile. The air smells better here, not like back in Technopolis, and as Logan wonders where he is, he takes a look at the skyline and gawks. It's New York City. Time passes. Issue number 5. After passing through the wasteland, Apocalypse's kingdom, through Tony's Technopolis and then the Deadlands, Logan was expecting everything, but he wasn't expecting New York City, at least not like the one he's landed in. Self-doubt creeps in again. Logan doesn't know where he is or what he is, for that matter. He regrets leaving his home, Danielle, baby Bruce. He regrets leaving it all behind, all just to chase an Ultron head. He drops to his knees on the roof and gives in to his anguish as he screams out loud. Screams and screams. But when he stops, there's a loud crash beside him. It's a helmet. Again, but this time an Iron Man helmet. One from a drone as Logan spots the wires and circuits sticking from underneath it. He turns around and spots a huge fight going on atop the Stark Tower. Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, War Machine, Falcon, Human Torch. They're all going up against something sinister, but Logan has his own worries. Firstly, he needs to find some clothes. He gets down from the building and sources garments from a recycling bin, and as he walks around New York, he feels normal for the first time. He looks back at the Stark Tower and wonders, whatever the superhero fuckfest was on top of that tower is long gone. But that don't mean it don't have the answers to mine. His thoughts, however, are soon interrupted by a familiar telepathic voice. Emma. It's Emma Frost. Logan quickly looks across the street, and it's indeed Emma Frost. She looks much younger than the version of her he encountered in Apocalypse's kingdom, and she's joined by a similarly younger version of Jean Grey. They both can read his mind. Logan's normal lasted only a few seconds. He walks over to the two young women and they're happy to see him, even though he's old and looks like he's been through hell. They're still happy because their Wolverine, their Logan, is dead. Right back at you. And Emma Frost laughs. She can see that a version of her died in Logan's arms a few days ago. His mind is an absolute mess, says Jean as she goes through Logan's memories. She's taken aback when Logan starts acting like an animal, sniffing the air around them. But Emma says where she is, she knows Logan too well, knows that he's just picking up their scent. Logan's recent experiences have made him distant, have made him wary, and his face reflects that. Emma could see the sadness in his eyes as she gently placed her hand under his chin. She heard him scream, his screaming mind, from the top of the building. Although she thought it was a trick by one of their enemies at first, she's more than happy that it was really Logan. She's been scanning his mind and his memories ever since, and what he's been through. She speaks to Logan telepathically. She says, "Logan, I'd like to hug you without you stabbing me." And Logan embraces her without a second thought. Jean still holds back. She's scared of what's inside Logan's head, of his memories, of what he can do, and Logan knows that he can't blame her. Emma decides it's time Logan got a break for once. something he's longed for all these years. It's the least they can do after all he's been through. And so, a reunion with the X-Men it is. She takes him back to the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters and offers him food. Logan hasn't eaten in a long time. He begins chowing down like an animal as the X-Men slowly gather around him. Everyone gawks at him, stares at him, unable to believe what their eyes are seeing. The silence is broken by Iceman, who can't contain himself no more and says, "What the fuck?" "Thank you, Iceman," says one of them. "Well, someone had to say it," adds another. They're all shocked and confused. Their Wolverine died, but this is him too. But this Wolverine is old and more calm than their Wolverine. Nothing makes sense to anyone. "He's from a future. I didn't say our future," says Emma to clear things up, but it only confuses the X-Men further. Henry, aka Beast, then explains to everyone the concept of time and how it isn't linear, as most of them expect it to be. There can be multiple timelines, with multiple dimensions. Iceman's only getting more and more confused as he scratches his head in frustration. The real Logan would never let us stand around and talk about him like he wasn't there. Nightcrawler wonders, still unable to trust if this is actually Logan. And it's then that Logan says, "I'm hungry, elf," still chowing down pieces of meat in a frenzy. And that's it. That was enough proof for Nightcrawler and the rest. Only Logan calls Nightcrawler an elf. Well, at least to his face. Rasputin then leans in and asks, "You're not even a little surprised to see us again, Logan?" And Logan gestures toward Emma, still continuing to massacre his food. Emma and Jean begin reading Logan's mind and tell the X-Men how he really feels. Logan's surprised and happy to see them, but more than that, he's terrified. Terrified that they all might just be a hallucination, consequence of his old age. Terrified that he might be under the influence of a trickster, someone like Mastermind, Mystique, or Mysterio, the kind of someone that tricked him into killing them in the first place. But most of all, he's trying not to get his hopes up. Not again. Some of them think that they should report this, report that they found a Logan from a different timeline, but that idea is soon shot down. Mutants take care of their own. He's one of them. And that's when Emma says, "Actually, there is someone I think he should meet immediately." Nobody knows it yet, but Emma has been reading Logan's mind all this while, and she's found something she needs to correct. They take Logan outside, and he soon sees the person he's supposed to meet. It's Logan himself, but younger and with blonde hair. "What the hell is this?" says the mystery Logan. "Yeah, what the hell is this?" asks Old Man Logan in a similar fashion. It's then that he's informed that this is Logan's son, or the son of the Logan that died in their timeline. Nightcrawler eagerly waits for an emotional response as he studies Old Man Logan's face, while Kitty Pryde is in awe of the entire scene. She can't believe her eyes. The young son, young Wolverine, introduces himself. His name is James Hudson, also known as Jimmy. Jimmy looks on in awe as he comes to terms with the ramifications of this. His father, Logan, is back. The two keep looking at each other, staring until Jimmy gives up and screams in frustration at a wall. Logan feels the same, and Emma goes on to explain why this meeting was important. She tells Logan that he's been through so much over the past 50 years, and so much more in the past week. He deserves to know he has a son, that one way or the other, his legacy will continue. Logan places his hand on Jimmy's shoulder with love, and the dam that had been holding back all of the old man's emotions finally shatters. From the deaths of his X-Men to the life and new family he had in the wasteland, to baby Bruce Jr., whom he loves dearly, every memory he holds close to his heart comes rushing back in, and tears stream down his face endlessly. Logan gathers himself in the next few minutes, and then it strikes to him. Emma said Jimmy is the son of a Wolverine and not the Wolverine. And when asked about it, Emma tells Logan everything they know for now. There was some kind of accident. We seem to be two places in one place. Two dimensions poured on top of each other. And when someone mentions in passing that how can Doom allow this, it makes Logan think. There it is again, that name, Doom. It keeps following him around. Emma takes everyone and decides to give Logan some time with his son Jimmy when Logan talks to Emma telepathically, asking what happens next. And Emma creates a mindscape. This time, there's nothing, just a white space as Emma and Logan talk. He asks Emma to tell him the truth, and so she does. She's been poking the minds of everyone that's remotely important and feels that a war is imminent. She tells him there are others like him, some from the past and some from the future. But Logan, different. Logan is from the past but belongs in their future. She thinks Logan, Old Man Logan, is here for a reason. Emma also goes on to share her theory about the two dimensions on top of one another. She knows someone did it intentionally. To all of them, the entire world, and everyone fits into this new creation. Except for Old Man Logan, of course. He defies it. He's the only proof Emma has, the X-Men have, that someone has messed with time and space, and on a scale that cannot be perceived by lesser people. Doom, says Logan without a second thought, and he's right. Emma agrees, but the fact that God himself, Doom himself, can be a lie is what scares Emma to her core. She knows it'll take some time, but the others, the other X-Men, Avengers, everyone will eventually come to this realization as well. And when everyone does, something big will happen, something huge, and Logan will be at the forefront of it. Their only proof. She imagines Old Man Logan leading them into battle against the god, against Doom. She feels all the years he's lived, suffered, powered through. She feels he's been trained over the years for this one final moment. Okay, so what happens after we rise up against God? Asks Logan, and Emma sighs. She's told Logan many times that she can read minds, not see the future, but he still wants her to speculate, and speculate she does. As she starts explaining, Logan's mindscape fades and is now completely empty. Emma or Logan, neither of them are there, only their voices. Emma then says, after all we've been through, after all you've been through, if the universe can't see fit to give you a second chance, then what the hell, right? And a second chance it is. The next moment, Old Man Logan is suddenly woken up by someone screaming. It's a woman, and she's being mugged. But how did Logan get there? He wonders as he wakes up from a pile of trash in the alleyway, clearly dazed and unable to remember anything. He rubs his neck, which is clearly sprained due to the position in which he was passed out. He walks up to the goons robbing the lady and asks them to stop. Old man, go sell crazy someplace else, says one of them, and Logan doesn't like that. He lifts his arm and unsheathes his claws. Both the goons know what that means. Slowly but surely, they recognize Logan and run out of the alley immediately. He then hands over the lady's purse and she promptly leaves, avoiding all eye contact with the naked Old Man Logan at all costs. Logan sniffs the air, and he knows immediately where he is. New York City. Damn, Frost was right. Guess I get to try again, he says as he looks over Times Square. Epilogue. Logan wakes back up in New York City, the place where the Secret War started and the place where Logan rallied everyone to defeat the god Doom. Now that he's been given a second chance, Old Man Logan will go on to exact revenge on everyone that's gonna wrong him in the future. Or in this case, wronged him in the past. The names on his list include, but are not limited to, Butcher, Bruce Banner, Mysterio, and Red Skull. If you're interested in how Old Man Logan helps take down Doom, then subscribe to our channel. We'll be doing a marvelous long read on the Secret War series very soon.